Well, my name is Steve Culp. I'm here based on my relationship with Swaringen Shankle side of the family. A lot of stuff Jenny said and some of the others said kind of ties in with my family, which that's why I'm here to try to hear kind of, what goes on in the families and how it's all tied together. Because if we really think about it, we're all tied together. If we go look at that family trees, we're going to be all connected, even if we have to go back to Noah's Ark. So we can always do that. But I have an article here that was in the Stanley paper in 1951, written by Fred T. Morgan. The trees probably still whisper stories of R. Guy Swaringen in the old Albemarle Cemetery on Petey Avenue, where he has been laid since October 18, 1953. Some things whisper stories to him during all his adult life. Perhaps the journalist's inclination continues. In life, as in perhaps in death, his material was endless. For 25 years, Guy Swaringen wrote a weekly column for the newspaper without missing a single week. As a justice of peace for the same period, he married almost 400 couples. In his court of minor offenses, he meted out justice so fairly and squarely that there were very few, if any, complaints about his decisions. Largely without formal education, he taught himself to write, read, use the typewriter, and develop an extensive vocabulary. For decades, he cruised around downtown Albemarle and knew practically everything about everybody. All of this is from a severely handicapped man who never took a natural step in his life. Spinal meningitis in his infancy left his legs useless and his hands gnarled and drawn. However, his upper body and his mind were unaffected. Early in his development, a burning ambition for independence and protective lifestyle. The son of Gaston Franklin and Molly Shankle Swaringen, Guy was born in the same house where he lived all of his life, a weathered, blackened, two-story frame structure midway on the south side of the second block of East Main Street. His father died soon after Guy was born. Early he learned to fend for himself, absorbing whatever knowledge and skills afforded by his mother, neighbors. Correspondence course followed, mostly in writing. His imagination soared. In 1915, at the age of 23, he sold his first story to Grit magazine. That's pretty good. Many other stories and articles followed in various publications, included Chevrolet, Comfort, Everyday Life, Rural Progress, and Ambition. From there on, he never ceased writing. In February 1926, Guy receives his first electric buggy, a gift from the men of the Bible class of Central Methodist Church. He gave himself instant mobility, moving from the wheelchair to the electric cart and access to all downtown Albemarle. And it was one of these first, it was one of the first, if not the first, electric cart for handicapped persons seen in this area. He used it for the remainder of his life. Beginning in March of 1928, he started his community comments, a weekly column for the newspaper, and continued it without a break until his health failed in 1953. In it, he chronicled the humor, witticism, nostalgia, and pathos he collected on his outings around town, always delivering his typed copy at the newspaper office ahead of the deadline. Also in 1926, he appointed Justice of the Peace of South Albemarle to fill an unexpired term due to resignation. Satisfied voters elected him to this post in succeeding years. Not much is remembered of the old house where Guy was born in 1892. Remodeled in 1910, the house was regarded as one of the oldest in Albemarle. After Guy's death, it was demolished to make room for business expansion. Today, Guy's remain among the liveliest of the occupants of the old Albemarle Cemetery, a lasting monument and a role model, a self-made man who overcame tremendous obstacles, a man who did not ask for much, just a decent chance to succeed. And I wanted to read one, his column that he wrote was called Community Comments. And when I was doing a little research, and like we all do, we try to find some tidbits or try to connect with people. This was very interesting. Like I said, he had his motor car, he went around Albemarle. I could just see him in this article I'm writing, going to read in a second, up and down these streets over here, finding all kinds of stuff to put in his article. So this is it. It's he wrote this in 1951. It says, planting. Tuesday, April 11th was a day of planting seed and gardening went on. Somebody with an overstuffed horse was plowing the field behind Tom Cooper's place over on Montgomery and 10th. With all that big garden to feed him energy, it's no wonder Mr. Cooper can keep romping around like a teenager after celebrating his golden wedding or whatever it was. Meanwhile, on the other side of 10th, a fellow with a red truck appeared to be moving in the whole lawn of red dirt as Joe McManus' new house. Joe, you might know, might not know, is the fellow who moved from Florida to Albemarle with a big patio in the back of his house. Back there, presumably, he can sun himself without being seen. Very nice, but the drawback is the walls that shut off view of him also shut off others to him. Not that that was always an unlimited preservation.